They say talk is cheap. Come and have a seat. Join the conversation. This is what you need. Real convo, authentic and honest. Communicating in marriage, yeah, we gotta talk about it. Yeah, never hold back. Lay it all out on the table. Building up stronger relations. It's time for a transformation. This is real talk, something you can feel talk. Come and grab a seat. Yeah, it's time to have some Bell Talk. Woo, Bell Talk.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bell Talk. I'm your boy, Stefan.
My name is Nadia.
This particular topic, we're going to be talking about family values. It's going to be a 4-part series, and the first series we're going to talk about today is family comes first. Now, a lot of times we get that kind of misinterpreted, or because of the fact that when we say family comes first, we're talking about our immediate family, our mother, father, uncle, cousin, aunt, brother, sister. But now, when you get married, the dynamics change. So we're going to lean in with a scripture because my wife and I both are Christians, and a lot of stuff we share with you guys is biblical. It's coming from a biblical perspective, but more like principles from it that anybody can apply whether you're Christian or not. And it comes from Genesis 2:24. It says, "Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh." Meaning that anything dealing with the flesh, anything dealing with the natural world, anything carnal, God sees one. Now, to dig in deeper with this particular topic, I'm gonna let my wife go ahead and share some information with you guys. I feel that's very important.
Okay, so pretty much family comes first. What is that all about? So sometimes, like before marriage, a lot, maybe it's your husband or your wife, a lot of people depend on you and your family. You might be the one everybody look to, to handle, responsibilities, to just do certain things in their lives. And sometimes, you're just that go-to. I think every family has that person that's that go-to. That person I can call, that responsible one. Yeah, the responsible one in the family, or the one that I can call anytime, that's always available, or the one that I can send on an errand, or I can run to the grocery store. They're just always available whenever you need them. So I think once getting into marriage, you understand the dynamics change, but a lot of times your family don't always understand the dynamics change. They know that you're married, but they still expect you to still be that same person. So it's like, okay, now that you understand that we become one flesh, and I have to consult with my husband, to them, it can become offensive because they're used to you, hey, I'm up the street, come jump in the car, let's go up, to the store, let's go to shopping, let's go. And now your answer is, well, let me talk to my husband, or let me call my husband, or let me see if my husband got anything planned for today, or let me talk to my wife, or, let me see if my wife got anything planned for, us and the kids today, or, so now they're looking like, okay, like, what is this new conversation? Like, normally you would just up and go. Yeah, that was before I became one flesh. When you become one flesh, you're not making decisions on your own anymore. Like if you're a Christian and you really basing your marriage off biblical principles, you consult your spouse in everything. It doesn't matter. Yeah, you literally like you consult, because some people look at it as if, I think I seen a post on Facebook and someone was saying like, is it was, in other words, asking like, is it I can't think of the word they was using, was saying like, pretty much like, is it overly for you to have to ask your spouse for permission to do something, or let your spouse know where you're going? Or I'm like that's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you want to let your spouse know where you're going? Like,
you're not asking permission
it's
either.
not like even permission. It's like,
you're not asking permission.
The respect of letting them know.
Yeah, it's not like your spouse or male or how you say, husband or wife. You're not kids, so it's not like she has to ask me permission to go anywhere, or I gotta ask her permission. It's the reverence and respect to let her know where I'm at. Hey, I'm about to go X, Y, Z. Oh, well, no, baby, you can't do that because we got such going on. Like a lot of times, if you don't have a schedule, I'll plan stuff without her knowing it, right? And because she doesn't know, she has something else planned on that slot. So if I don't let her know what my schedule is, what's going on with me, and we butt heads, and it's something that's very important, I done put something before my families. You see what I'm saying? So it's good to check in with each other so y'all can be on the same playing field, so that you won't bump heads and your schedules won't collide. So she should always know what I'm doing, where I'm at, and I check in because she's my accountability partner. All right. So regardless of how you feel about that, you guys are still accountability partner to some degree in certain areas of your life. Might not be every area, but that is the truth of the matter.
Yeah, so I can definitely speak of this conversation because it was something that I struggled with for a long time because it was something that was drilled in me for a while. Like you always taught. So I think even back in the day during what Stephen's 6 years older than that, but I think Steve.
You don't even know that.
I mean, like Steve, even in our era, it's like it was drilled in you so hard about reverencing your parents, like how important it is to reverence your parents. So it's like your parents over anything almost. So that was in my mind, like always, almost like all of the time, like even growing up, like I never remember like disrespecting my mom. Like on my mom's side, like I was the one that was always scary out of the bunch. I was the scary one, the nervous one. I was the one that did not talk back because my mom, like, she did not play. My older siblings, they were the brave one. Even on my dad's side, like I think I might have talked back to my dad. My dad hit me one time. Like I might have talked back to my dad one time, and he got me one time. So for me, it was just this whole, and I did it because, and it wasn't so much of, I had my own personal relationship with them, and because of, how I, just was, I just, carried this utmost respect. It was kind of like it was feared into us. It was driven into us. You must honor and respect your parents. So but as I grew up, like that's how I carried myself. Parents over anything. So even up until the point where I got married, like there were just some things that I didn't understand. If I felt like there was some things that some family members needed or whatever, and I came to Stephen and I'm like, okay, this family member needs this, and he's like, well, yeah, we can't do this right now, and I'm looking like, okay, but they really need it. And he's looking like, okay, like he's always been the budgeter for the house, and he's looking like, okay, yeah, I understand that, babe, but right now, like, it's not a good time. Like, we can't do that. So there were times where I would do stuff behind his back, like that, where he didn't even know, and I'm like, giving him money. I'm like, just like doing stuff, and it got to the point where it literally started causing chaos in our marriage because I was dividing, I was going against. And even the person that I was doing it for, whether they knew or not, that Stephen was in agreement, like, it's like that person don't care because you're meeting a need of theirs. They're just like, okay, you're giving it to me. That's all that matters to them. You're meeting my need at the time. So now it's like when you say, I can't do X, Y, Z because of my spouse, it's kind of like foreign. Like I remember I mentioned to someone, they asked me to go somewhere with them. And I simply said, well, I need to call my husband, I need to call Stephen and see if this is okay. And they like blasted me, like, you're like, all you want to do is be up under Stephen, and you don't want to be around anybody else, and you just like, and I'm like, whoa, like what's going on?
And they don't know she's a homebody. So I'll be like, I don't care, but she's like, that's not her thing. So as you get older, your desires and your wants change. So the person, still viewed her as the old Nadia and not the married and newly revised Nadia. So she's not the same person. So they have to get to know who she is now versus what she was then. So, and not put it on me. Oh, it's your husband. No, this is a different version. So,
So like they had a hard time understanding because like he said, like back in the day, like as a younger kid, this was a version they saw of me because of the type of relationship that I wanted with them at that time. So the relationship that I wanted with them at that time, I wanted to be everywhere they were. I wanted to hang out. I wanted to just wherever they were, I wanted to be there because of, I felt like I never had enough time with them. So now, and that was literally because I wanted to spend quality time with them. So when I felt like, that time wasn't there anymore, now I'm an adult, I have a husband, it's not even about, me being around Stefan. It's about the whole respect thing, because majority of the time, Stefan and I most of the time we're not really even together like that. Stefan, no, I'm a homebody. He's more of an adventurous person. He likes to go out, have fun, and roller coaster rides. I'm like, literally, I'm the boring one, because I don't like the high rides. I don't like all this stuff. I'm like, hey, I watch the babies, and while y'all go do that. So it's not so much of me wanting to, and even if I did want to be, around my husband all the time, it's my husband. Like, that shouldn't even be an issue, but it wasn't even about that. It was the fact that they felt, I guess some way disrespected, because the fact that I wanted to consult my husband about me going somewhere that was like 35, 40 minutes out, and they felt, they went off because I said that.
And I think that and just to piggyback right off that, just like, the relationship change, like my wife, Nadia reverenced her parents. To this day, she still reverences her parents. I have a different relationship with mine, not necessarily healthy, but the reverence part is very powerful, because just like how you reverence your mother and how she treats or talks to her mother, that's her value and the type of relationship she has with her mother is the reason why she treats her mother the way she treats her mother. She treats her father the way she treats her father. That does not mean that she's a doormat. You just, you know what? I can just indirectly walk all over her and say, go do this, go do that, go do that, and she go do it. All right, and people should not get offended if she says no. That makes sense?
So, in other words, like, let me see, how can I say this? So yes, I would say, like, I wouldn't say reverence. I do respect my parents. I wouldn't say, like, reverence. I respect my parents. I'm to the point where, because before, I would say when we first got married, I would say then I reverence them, because I put them over everything. Like, it didn't matter, house, kids, husband, whatever. I feel like, whatever need that, them are not even just my parents, anybody in my family, somebody near and dear to me, whatever need they had, I tried my best, because I'm a person, with a big heart. So somebody close, near and dear to me have a need, I go out of my way to try to meet that need, even if it affects me in the process. So that was my, weak part. You'll keep doing till eventually you get burned out. People don't see that part. They don't see the part where you get burned out. They only see the part where you keep giving. So on the outside, they're like, man, this person is a giver. So they see you constantly giving and giving and giving and giving. So in turns, they don't see where you go home and you're burnt out, you're stressed out, the headaches, the migraines, and and literally it's really not their fault, because you're kind of doing it to them. You're doing it to yourself. So, I had to get to a point where I stopped reverencing them and start just respecting them. Like, hey, Dad, I respect you enough to not disrespect you, but I can't step over the boundaries that I have for my house. I can't step over the boundaries and limitations that me and my household has set. Not saying that I had to ever do that, but you start putting things in place and in order. That's the difference between, I feel like, reverence and respect. Hey, auntie, cousin, mom, dad, sister, brother, hey, I respect you, but I can't put you over this. If my husband and, let's say, a cousin, if they get into an altercation, and my husband knows I'm not the one to say, well, I'm going to take my husband's side because he's my husband. No, I'm not that wife. I'm not that wife. Like, he'll tell you, like, I stand for the truth all day long. If my husband gets into an altercation with my cousin and he was wrong, I'm going to tell him straight up, no, babe, like, I saw the situation. I heard the conversation. You were wrong. Like, you need to fix this. You were wrong. I'm not taking up for my cousin because he's my cousin, but you were wrong in the situation. When it comes to my, somebody else, and if it was my cousin on the other hand, I would tell that cousin, hey, no, I'm not taking up for my husband because he's my husband, but you were actually wrong in this situation. you are wrong. So I'm never going to be that person that's going to say, this is my cousin, this is my brother, this is my sister, this is my mom, this is my dad. I'm never going to look at the relationship that I have with you to determine a situation, to determine the truth in a situation. I'm always going to stand with the truth, no matter who it offends, no matter who it hurts. I'm sorry I got a little bit off topic, but I just want to make that clear. Like, I don't care what relationship we have or what part you have in my life, I'm always going to stand with the truth, no matter who it hurts or who it offends. I don't care if it's, husband, kids, whoever. If you do something that's wrong and it's brought to the light and it comes to my doorstep, I'm going to always stand on the truth. So I had to address some things. Well, not even address. I just had to change the way I handle things. I didn't really need to address anybody, because the way people treat you is the way that you allow them to treat you. If you put your foot down and you don't stand for certain things, then people can only go but so far as you let them to go. If you keep allowing people to use you and use you and use you, they're going to keep doing that. But if you stand up for yourself and you only take, but so much, then that's how people would treat you. So I had to come to a point, what, my sanity, my mental, my family, my kids, my husband, my house, these things are what's priority in my life right now. And I can't afford to put nothing else. Actually, as a Christian, I would be totally out of order to do that. These things are what's most important in my life. I can't go out and reach and, teach and really do too much for anybody else until I'm in order with my own foundation.
Now, some of you guys may be just kind of stare back in.
I'm sorry.
Some of y'all might be like mama's boys, daddy's girls, and you get into a marriage where you're still viewed like that. There's nothing wrong with still being viewed like that, but it is something wrong if you're still behaving and doing things to service your parents over your marriage. Because now remember this: when you got married, you guys are now life partners. Your parents may or may not be there or be around long enough for you guys to, enjoy the rest of your years together. You know what I mean? So wherever they may fall under, you guys can be together to death do you part. All right. So with that being said, you have to learn how to put your family, meaning your wife or your husband, before anybody else, because you guys are now building a foundation together that you can expand. And what does the Bible say? A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. You got a lot of responsibilities now outside of just your brothers, sisters, your uncles, and mother and father. Now you have the responsibility together to build a life together and also leave a legacy or an inheritance for your children's children, because that was our parents supposed to do. And I think nowadays with a lot of these parents now, they didn't get the proper teaching back then that we have now. They didn't have, like, I think a lot of parents, a lot of people were born with a mother but no father, or father no mother. So you have a lot of dysfunctional families. Even if you had a family with the mother and father, it's still dysfunctional, because maybe the father was raised to be a man's man, or the mother was raised to be independent. So you're gonna bump heads. You see what I'm saying? So the dynamics change based upon the era and how you were raised. Don't necessarily mean that they were wrong. It's all they knew. So, but now in 2021, you have an opportunity to do something a little bit different. One is get your priorities straight. Make sure the foundation of your house is straight. Because if the foundation is not right, there's no way you can grow or build a life together if you put everybody before your spouse or everybody before your marriage. It'll never work.
And also as far as the respect part of it, I don't think I've never had to deal with that with Stephen having to correct someone like for disrespecting Steve. He never really had like issues like with my family. I know with him, Stephen's tried to stand up for me in ways like, we're two different people. Like, he tried to stand up for me in ways like I feel like babe, like it's not worth it. Like I'm laughing and he's like heated.
I'm
like,
aggression. She knows how to handle her own family better than I would. Because I'm more my family.
Even my family, like
Yeah.
your
Matter of fact, both our family. Because I'm more direct. She has more empathy and sympathy, and she has a well-rounded way to get her message across without being offensive. I'm working on that. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you can say something and mean well, but it doesn't come out right. So people look at you like, okay, you crazy. Like, oh man, okay, that was kind of harsh. And sometimes it's good to leverage somebody who's better at it than you are to get that message across, so that you still keep the relationship and not offend somebody to the point where they want nothing to do with you. So
yeah, you want to get the message across without, because sometimes all people will hear is the offense.
Yeah,
that's it. So you want to get the message across effectively without them hearing the offense and now not wanting to hear anything that you have to say. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I feel like I can be good at that sometimes. And I feel like Steve, he coming from a background where, they speak their mind, and it be the truth, and speak their mind, but I'm the type of person where I'll digest the situation, I'll, digest the person, and, I'll like kind of look at the situation before I just say something, I look at people's feelings, I'm like, kind of with my words, I don't want to offend anyone. I'm just like kind of careful. And she was like, okay, but it's the truth, like you need to say this, and the other. And I'm like, well, no, babe, like, because at the end of the day, I just feel like some things are not even worth it. Like, it's not worth me having a headache. It's not worth me, getting into uproar, being stressed out. Just some battles are just not worth fighting. It's just not. You can say your piece. And sometimes you can say your piece and you still never get to the bottom of it. So just, hey, let the chips fall where they fall. It's like, it's okay. Every battle is not meant to fight.
That's true.
So when it comes to even with Stefan's family, I don't think he's, never really had to stand up for me. I know, a few times, he might have had some conversations with his mom.
Yes, I have.
Because
yes, I have.
Well, some conversations he kind of started. Like when he got married and didn't tell his mom he was getting married.
Now you gonna tell her? You just gonna tell her that?
Yeah. So that was,
don't ever do that. Don't ever get married and not tell your parents.
that was the first encounter.
Yeah,
Shouldn't have had really much to say because even though she came off aggressive, I can understand where she was coming from, but I can also understand where Stephen was coming from. But me being newer to the family, that was my place for me to just stay out of it, period. Yeah. So yeah.
Family comes first, y'all. So to narrow it, to kind of bring it to a close, I guess. This is the thing. When you say I do, all right, and you'll become one and y'all get married, whether you're newlyweds or 10, 20 years in your marriage, you're life partners now. So everything you do stems from the husband and wife. If the wife is offended by certain things or doesn't want you to do certain things, you have to adhere to that, and vice versa. Parents, I think it's hard for parents to let go of their child because you'll always be their child to your parents, especially your parents. And brothers and sisters, if you have a close relationship with your brothers and sisters, same thing, but at the same time, what they desire for you to do for them or with them does not override what your husband or spouse needs from you, because you're still building a foundation of a happy marriage, especially if you don't really have much of an example to go with, because a lot of people, divorced, separated, so you really can't draw from something that no longer exists. You have to go with, maybe some mentorship or other marriages, successful marriages, to take some points from them so you can build something substantial, so you can set an example for your children and for your children's children to follow. And that's very important to my wife and I. It's to set that example so our kids, when they leave out our house, they don't go out just anywhere and just grab anybody. They have standards. They have, rules, principles they abide by. They have a foundation to go off of, so that when they meet that special person, they're coming in that relationship with some value. They're coming in that relationship with something to offer them. not just
what can I
what can you do
receive
for
from
me,
this relationship?
what can you do for me,
What
you know,
we bring to the table
what do you
together.
bring to the table, right? That way y'all can build something together, and that's very important.
Another thing, just to add on before we end it, another reason why it's good to put when family comes first, because say if you that like a girl like not girl a girl I used to work with at a job, she was saying how I think her husband was like, he grew up like a mama's boy.
Okay.
You know, so, you know, but as an adult, like he still was like that. So it would be certain things that, you know, she would cook, or certain things that she would do that he would always run back and tell his mama, tell his mama, tell his mama, tell his mama. And his mom was always giving him advice. So I'm like, you know, even if that adult son has, you know, yet to cut the umbilical cord, like moms, like back away, you know, let them, you know, once they're married and, you know, they have a spouse now, you know, let them know that, you know, because I'm not gonna do that to my son. You know, you get married, you're not gonna be coming to me like, you know, I can give you some advice, like if y'all having, you know, little issues here and there, I can give you some advice. At the end of the day, you're not gonna be sleeping on my couch. Like, I'm gonna tell you, go home and make it right with your wife.
Right.
And, you know, y'all talk it out, because I'm never going to teach my son to hide from a situation. You allow your son to come to your house and stay there 2 and 3, 4 nights. You're teaching them how to run from situations.
And we're not picking sides either.
And I'm not picking sides.
Right
I'm
or
not
wrong.
picking sides.
If he's wrong or right, I'm not picking sides. You come to my house about advice, we're going to give you just that. But if there's a problem and you allow us into that particular situation, because my wife and I tell you, when they get of age, you're out. I ain't turning back around. We've given you all the tools to survive on your own. We ain't concerned about you no more.
But we're not going to be those parents that
but we're not
like,
going to ignore you.
You're 18, so
Get on out of
we're just kicking you out. We're not going to be those parents. We're going to...
She's not going to be that parent.
Really? No, like, that's how we're working now to make sure when that time does come and it's time for our kids to move on, that they're going to be well equipped financially and well established before, you know, you just kick your kids out. Okay, 18, you out of school, we just kick you out, and I ain't set no foundation for you. I ain't putting nothing in place for you. Now you're like, okay, so what do I do now?
He'll be more than just a survivor. He can be a conqueror. Both of them will be a conqueror. Yeah. But when they get to an issue or altercation, when they need some guidance, we'll do just that as parents, just guide them. Like I said, as parents, since we have kids, as we get older, as they get older, our responsibility as parents, all parents, older or young, is to make sure, for one, none of our kids are gonna come to my house and telling me or trying to help me out. All right, I've been here longer than you, so my responsibility as a parent of my kids is make sure that whatever they need, anything, I'm there for them. I may need them when I get old enough where I can't walk no more or something like that. But right now, I'm a middle-aged person. I'm good. My wife is good. I take care of her. So, you know, when it comes to family coming first, it's me. I cover my house, my wife, and whoever's under my house. When they leave my house, I've given them everything. My wife has given them everything to do the same for themselves, whether they're single or married. Okay? And anything you want else to answer that? And that's it. You know?
I mean, that's it. That's just the first step. Like we said, this is going to be a series. We're going to be talking about different topics as far as family values is concerned. These are things that's going to help your marriage. These are things that's going to help. These are things that are going to help your marriage. These are things that are going to help, you know, your kids. These are things that are going to help you as an individual. These are a lot of tools that we're going to give you guys that we've learned through. Not everything through trial and error. Some things just through living and just seeing, watching, knowing, listening. You know, these are just things that we've learned, you know. And as much as we can give you guys, we're going to give you. So we hope that you guys just continue to tune into Bell Talk. We're fairly new, and we see that the subscribers are definitely up on YouTube. And we appreciate all of you guys for subscribing to our channel on YouTube, also our Facebook. So please, you guys, just continue to share, follow, and like, and we're going to keep bringing the content to you guys, and
upgrades and everything else.
Yes,
and
definitely upgrades and everything.
Freebies, we'll be giving out some stuff too as well. Yep. But look, we love you guys. Thank you for your support. Subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Bell Talk. God bless.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Hey, they say talk is cheap. Come and have a seat. Join the conversation. This is what you need. Real convo, authentic and honest. Communicating in marriage. Yeah, we gotta talk about it. Yeah. Never hold back. Lay it all out on the table. Building up stronger relations. It's time for a transformation. This is real talk. Something you can feel talk. Come and grab a seat. Yeah, it's time to have some bell talk. Bell talk.